Welcome to another WalterFootball.com video. I'm Charlie Campbell, Senior Draft Analyst, and today I'm getting into this week's mock draft. So this mock draft went up on WalterFootball.com on Friday, September 25th. So we'll get right through it. Now I suggest you click below in the settings, speed it up here to 1.25 or 1.5. I think that makes these videos a lot better. Anyways, so in this mock, I have the Lions picking first overall. I think the three worst teams in the NFL right now are the Lions, the Panthers, and the Jets. And I think the Jets could have an easier schedule than the Lions. I think the Panthers, especially when they get Christian McCaffrey back, I could see them winning a few games, especially down the stretch later in the year. They're a young team, so I think they're going to get better, and they could get a few wins that end up costing them that number one pick. I think Detroit and the Jets could be in the hunt for the number one pick all year, especially the Jets and Detroit. If Matthew Stafford got hurt, I think that would be a borderline done deal there. So anyways, first pick, Lions. I have them taking Trevor Lawrence. I think that's obviously a no-brainer. If whoever gets number one, whether it's taking Lawrence or trading out, he'll go number one. I'm sure of it. But Lawrence to the Lions there, and I think that if that happened, then they just look to trade Matthew Stafford and get him to a winner or a team close to winning at least to close out his career. Second pick, I have the Panthers taking Justin Fields. Similar kind of situation where Teddy Bridgewater could be traded away, but they could keep him for a year and then deal him, maybe get a mid-round pick for him. That's kind of the value for a backup quarterback, but definitely the Panthers. I think Fields would be an upgrade. Teddy Bridgewater is just kind of a Kirk Cousins type, good enough to maybe get them to the wild card-ish kind of level, but not a championship quarterback, and Justin Fields could be a difference maker for Carolina. Third pick, I have the Jets taking Jamar Chase. Obviously, they need more weapons for Sam Darnold. That's plain to see. Plain as day. Chase would be a great fit and would really be a huge upgrade for the Jets. Fourth, I have Washington taking Penei Sewell, left tackle from Oregon. They got to replace Trent Williams, get an upgrade there. Fifth, I have the Bears taking Alex Leatherwood, left tackle from Alabama. Leatherwood's versatile, though, so the Bears could, shuffle some pieces around the line. They could play him at guard or right tackle, and that would just give them more athleticism and more size and strength up front, and their offensive line could definitely stand to get better. Sixth, I have the Dolphins taking Carlos Basham, defensive end from Wake Forest. And an interesting thing with Basham, the Dolphins need an edge rusher. They need an elite edge rusher to really make things go for their defense. Now, the interesting thing with Gregory Rousseau, the Miami defensive end, sitting out this season, wouldn't surprise me if Basham has a good year that he jumps Rousseau. Skill set-wise, Rousseau is better, but having more fresh tape and having multiple seasons of tape could make Basham more of a safe pick, where Rousseau is going to be entering the draft as a real one-year wonder, having just had one good season of college football as a redshirt freshman. Whereas Basham, he already has 2 sacks in 2 games this year, had a really good 2019 season, flashed some in 2018, is much safer in terms of the body of work. So that'll be an interesting situation to watch for a lot of those players who sit out this year. The momentum is a part of the draft process, and not having recent tape is going to hurt them compared to guys who really excelled and are more top of mind with recent games that impressed evaluators. So be interesting to see how that shakes out. Next pick, I have the Chargers taking Gregory Rousseau. I think Melvin Ingram obviously is aging. They spent a huge amount of money on Joey Bosa, so you're going to need another edge rusher to go with Bosa, and you don't, for money-wise in terms of the team, it would make more sense to have a talented rookie on a cheap 5-year deal than spending on another rusher in free agency. So Rousseau to the Chargers. 8th pick, I have the Browns taking Micah Parsons. they need linebacker help. It's been an issue for years. Parsons could be a good value there. 9th pick, I have the Bengals taking Christian Barmore, defensive tackle from Alabama. Obviously, they need offensive line help, but they also need some young talent on defense, as we saw what Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt did to their defensive front on that Thursday night football game. Definitely, Barmore would also offer some inline pass rush from the defensive tackle position. So getting a young understudy to go with Geno Atkins and then take over as kind of the lead guy for their defensive line is something that the Bengals are going to have to consider in this upcoming draft. Carlos Dunlap, Geno Atkins aren't getting any younger. 10th pick, I have the Giants taking Devontae Smith, the wide receiver from Alabama. Obviously, they need more receiving weapons for Daniel Jones. Smith is a little undersized, but he's so good. He's such a good route runner, excellent hands, can make big plays. Definitely would be a nice weapon for New York. 11th pick, I have the Jaguars taking Shaun Wade, cornerback from Ohio State. He's also played safety for them. He played slot corner this year with Damon Arnett and Okudah in the NFL. Wade will probably move to the outside, and if he has a good year there, I could see him really skyrocketing, because then he's shown NFL teams he can play 3 spots. He can play safety, he can play slot corner, outside corner. Defensive coordinators love versatility like that. Helps them to negate mismatches and use guys in a variety of ways, makes things tougher on the offense. You don't know where players are going to line up, what they're going to do post-snap. So Shaun Wade, I think, could end up being a guy that really rises in the process if he has a good year for the Ohio State playing outside corner. 12th pick, I have the Broncos taking Sam Cosmi, left tackle from Texas. They could use a tackle upgrade to protect Drew Lock. Kind of a no-brainer. Offensive line is a top need for them. 13th pick, I have the Dolphins taking Andre Sisco, the safety from Syracuse. Safety's a weakness on the Dolphins' defense. They could really use an upgrade there. 14th pick, I have the Vikings taking Patrick Surtain. Obviously, corner's been an issue for Minnesota the past few years. They took a few corners last year in the early rounds with Jeff Gladney in the first round, but they could use more talent to go with them, and that would be a nice combo, because Surtain would kind of give you that bigger guy. Gladney has some size issues, so he can move inside to the slot, and you can move them around and matchups. You have a guy that can handle big receivers, and you have a guy that can handle speed receivers. So that would be a nice pick, I think, for the Vikings. 15th pick, I have the 49ers taking Paris Ford. Maybe a little high for Ford because he's not the biggest of guys, but man, is he a good football player. That guy is just a pure football player. Excellent instincts. 2 games into 2020, already has 2 picks, has made his presence felt big time on that Pitt defense. He's physical, he tackles, he's good in the ground game, can play in coverage. So if teams can get over the size, he's going to be a guy that could rise. But that size could push him into the late 1, early 2. We'll see. 16th pick, I have the Raiders taking Dylan Moses, the linebacker from Alabama. I think linebacker it's been an issue in the Raiders defense for years. But I think with what you see with Nick Kwiatkowski and with the injuries they've had there already, it's remained an issue this year. So I think the Raiders really need to devote a significant resource there. They came close to taking Patrick Queen last year in the first round. So I could see them going back to inside linebacker, non-pass rushing linebacker this year. 17th pick, I have the Cowboys taking Javon Holland, the safety from Oregon. Dallas could really use an upgrade at the safety position, and Holland can really cover and make things happen on the back end. Very instinctive, good ball skills. Be a nice fit in Dallas. Similar to Paris Ford, there's a size concern there, but heck of a football player. 18th pick, I have the Falcons taking Marvin Wilson, defensive tackle from Florida State. Atlanta, for years, has needed to get some more size and physicality up front on the defensive line, and I think Wilson would help that, give them a nice combo with Grady Jarrett. 19th pick, I have the Colts taking Trey Lance, quarterback from North Dakota State. Obviously, Phillip Rivers isn't a long-term answer at this stage of his career. Lance would give them a guy that they could maybe develop behind Rivers or Jacoby Brissett for a year and then eventually turn it over to him to be their franchise quarterback. Really talented player, would be an excellent player to work with. Frank Reich, their head coach. 20th pick, I have the Bucs taking Travis Etienne, the running back from Clemson. Leonard Fournette was only signed to a one-year deal. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets more money elsewhere in free agency. Etienne would be a great scheme fit, good outlet receiver for Tom Brady. 21 overall, I have the Cardinals taking Paulson Adebo, the cornerback from Stanford. Obviously, Patrick Peterson's not getting any younger, and the Cardinals' secondary could use some more upgrades. 22, I have the Packers taking Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Florida. Dynamic receiving tight end. He'd be a really nice weapon in the Green Bay offense, and they could use that. 23rd pick, I have the Jaguars taking Jalen Mayfield. This is the pick they got from the Rams in the Jalen Ramsey trade. Cam Robinson, the Jags left tackle, is going to be a free agent after this season. AJ Cam, they could opt out of his contract, the guard, after this year. So they could, even if one of them comes back, they could take an offensive lineman to help protect Gardner Minshew. So Mayfield could be, he has enough athleticism. I think he could move to left tackle. Maybe Juwan Taylor could, but you could also move him inside to guard if Can is let go. 24th overall pick, I have the Patriots taking TJ Vasher, the giant wide receiver from Texas Tech. He's quick as well, would be a real mismatch weapon, and obviously the Patriots need that badly. 25th overall, I have the Titans taking Wyatt Davis. Roger Saffold isn't getting any younger. I think the Titans could stand to improve the inside of their offensive line. And with all the money they just paid Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry, it makes sense to beef up that offensive line, give them more ROI on those contracts and what they've invested in those players. 26th overall, I have the Eagles taking Trey Hill. They could use help on the inside of their line, obviously. 27th overall, Pittsburgh taking Caleb Farley, cornerback from Virginia Tech. He's sitting out this year, but Joe Hayden could use an understudy, and Caleb Farley has an excellent skill set, size, speed. A little bit of a guy that could slide because he only had one good year of tape in college, had one bad year of tape, has had injuries as well. So he may have the skill set of a guy, athletic ability and speed and size and all that, of a top 16 player. But because of the injuries and a bad year of tape, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes a bit lower. 28th overall, I have the Bills taking Walker Little. The Bills have such a good roster, they could really go best player available. That's a non-quarterback really in the first round. But offensive line, defensive line, teams never can have enough of talent there. Same thing with cornerback. So I could see the Bills looking at their lines and as well as corner in the draft. 29th overall, I have the Jets taking Joe Tryon, edge rusher from Washington. The Jets got to improve their edge rush. This is the pick they got from the Seahawks in the Jamal Adams trade. 30th overall, I have the Chiefs taking Jay Tafule, the defensive tackle from USC. They just paid a lot of money to Chris Jones, so it makes sense, kind of like the Chargers situation, have a talented guy on the inside to go with them that's on a cheap 5-year deal. That way they can spread that money, around elsewhere since they already paid Chris Jones. And if you have an injury to Jones, you still have a first-round talent on the inside of the line to help make things go. 31st overall, I have the Saints taking Jalen Waddle, wide receiver from Alabama. He's a speedster, big play threat, would be a great fit in the Saints offense. Obviously, Emmanuel Sanders can't play forever, so Waddle would be a really nice complement to Michael Thomas. 32nd overall, I have the Ravens taking Chris Olave, the wide receiver from Ohio State. Could be a really nice receiver for Lamar Jackson. Olave has some speed to him, a little bit of size, good route runner, good hands, has some explosiveness, could be a really nice addition to that offense. Would make it really tough on defenses with Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews. If you put one more really good receiver in that offense, that could just be a nightmare for defenses. So that's my mock as of September 25th. I'll be back with you guys regularly with these mock videos. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. You can follow me on Twitter at Draft Campbell. You can follow Walt on Twitter at Walter Football. And check the description below. We have links to all the info you're going to want for the draft and the season to come here. So check us out on walterfootball.com. I'll be back with you guys soon. Thanks.